Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you here today. Hope you've had a good week, wrapping it up your work week anyway. And I appreciate you joining me. If you will, like, share, and or comment on the post. And then join me in the book of Ephesians chapter 1 as we look at verse 13 and 14. Verse 13 says, "In him," speaking of Christ, "you also, when you heard the word of the truth, the gospel of your salvation, and believed in him, were sealed with the promised Holy Spirit, who is the guarantee of our inheritance until we acquire possession of it to the praise of his glory." Beautiful verse. Great verse for believers. But as this whole first chapter is, I mean, it's just should be, again, I think almost every day, I think I've finished up by saying we ought to have a song in our heart, a spring in our step, a song on our lips, and joy in our heart. Because this chapter is just loaded with encouragement and exciting news for the believer. And this one is no different, as we are reminded here of the assurance, the sealing, as it is described, of our salvation. It is done that with no less than the Holy Spirit, who was a custom in that time, and some still do it. I still occasionally come across the tools to do wax seals with, but it was a custom in that time that when a letter was written, that it would be rolled up, and a drop of wax from a hot candle would be dropped across the joint where the paper rolled up, and then the writer would put their seal in that wax before it cooled to seal that letter and to make it secure. And our salvation is secured by no one less than the Holy Spirit. And he tells us that it is our guarantee, or the earnest is another word, a down payment, a pledge. The Holy Spirit gives us the assurance, the guarantee of our, as the old hymn goes, the blessed assurance of our salvation. We can know that we are redeemed. Many people, if you ask them, are you saved? Well, I hope so. You're going to heaven? Well, I hope so. I think so. We can know so. Read the book of 1 John and count the number of times that John writes the words. He says, "I write these things that you may know." We don't have to have a hope so or a think so salvation. According to Paul, according to John, according to the New Testament, we can't know that we are a child of God, that the Holy Spirit lives within us. Why does he do that? So that we can, back in verse 12, it says, "to the praise of his glory," so that we can give him honor and praise for what he has done in our life. How can a person know that they are saved? Because of the work of the Holy Spirit in their life, that they can know that they are a believer. They can know that they are saved because of what God has done in us. And that's why it's important. I may ruffle some feathers here, but I'm going to differ. Some people, you hear some groups, some schools of biblical teaching who say you've been saved, now you need to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. No, the gift of the Holy Spirit comes when we are saved. It's the Holy Spirit that seals us and lets us know that we are saved. So you don't get the Holy Spirit later. The Holy Spirit comes into the person at salvation. Now, we may not understand it. We may not be able to operate in the full power, but it's just like anything else. If you've bought a new car lately, they got a lot of bells and whistles that takes a while to learn how to use, or many of you listen to me on a smartphone or a computer. You don't know how to do everything that computer will do. Well, the Holy Spirit comes into us at salvation, and then we begin to grow in the knowledge of that Spirit. We don't have to go get the Spirit. The Holy Spirit comes in at salvation and gives us confidence and assurance, a guarantee or earnest that we are a believer. And what a glorious thought to start the day with today. And as you go, once again, spring in your step, song on your lips, and joy in your heart, because you have the confidence, you have the assurance of your salvation. And if you don't, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love the opportunity to share with you how you can have that assurance. Information will be at the end of the post today, and you give me a call, shoot me an email. Would love to talk to you about how you can have that blessed assurance that Paul writes about.